Good morning, traders. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for our midweek review, where we see how well our support and resistance levels are working from Sunday's setups. Happy Wednesday, traders. I'm Clayton Allen, host of the Day Trading Plumber podcast and founder here at LNFX. Well, it's Wednesday. It means it's time for the midweek review. So if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit like and subscribe so you'll get these videos every week and along every one of my trade ideas I post every day. So, guys, on Wednesday, I go through all of the pairs that we trade here at LNFX, and we look for how is our support and resistance assumptions. Have we had any breakouts of those levels? Have we had any bounces off those levels? And we look for a good midweek to late week trades back to the pivot. And you're going to see, once I get on the charts, let's jump on over and get on them. All right, let's see what we got. All right, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. We have a resistance zone here, and you can see we set alert. We're looking for a retest of this zone. The pivot's down here. We're obviously in an upward trend. We did almost bounce off this trend line that we also put on as a reference point Sunday. But guys, we're really close to testing that resistance zone again. And we're going to be looking for this double top type scenario, looking for that breakdown of this long upward trend. Sorry, let me silence that phone real quick. All right, Australian dollar, Swiss franc. So you can see we traded off this little mini resistance here off the pivot. Great trade. We became a risk-free trade after we broke through this trend line, and we took a good profit managing our price action on a smaller time frame. Good 30 pip move. But now price is pretty much just hugging the bottom side of the 200 EMA. So again, we're testing that area now. So I'm going to be looking short on this pair back to this trend line. Not a bad little intra-week move. Or if we bust through that level, let me get rid of some of this garbage and extend this out. Kind of want to move it up, right? We want to see a legitimate break of that before we get long on this pair. That R2 is a really good profit target there. Australian dollar, JPY. We have a pretty good make or break zone that we are using as a support. Price is getting sandwiched between this support and that 200 EMA. So what we want to do is look for a good breakout either way. The pivot is pretty close to where price is. So not a lot of opportunities on this pair. Get that out of the way there. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So we have a breakout of this smaller resistance zone we had labeled as make or break zone. Well, now we broke it. So what I want to look for here is a retest, which will give us a really good entry for this buy trade. So we're going to be looking for that type of move. Also, we can throw our Fibonacci retracement on this impulse leg, and you can see the 382 is where we're at. So I'm going to guess this thing's probably going to go about to there where we're at. A lot of predictions on this. So basically what we want to do, guys, is look for where we get that pullback. Look for kind confirming confirming extension line and trade off of that. But I do think this pair is eventually going to get all the way up here back to that resistance zone. Australian dollar, US dollar. So we had a good trade call out yesterday that we would have stopped out on. We were playing off this double top, break of the trend line, and retest here. So we entered on that retest. No biggie. Price pushed back up, made a new high. You want to be out of it at that scenario. So what are we still going? Is price still going to respect this resistance level? Don't know. We're in a really good positive trend. So if you are looking for a short anywhere, it'd be right at this top, this new high, or were these tested? Or what? Let's wait for another trend line break now off of these bottoms. One might go right there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to wait for. I'm not going to get caught trying to guess the market again. So off a trend line break, we're there. If we bust through this, look for that retest and continuation. The Australian dollar is just crushing it right now. Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. All right, so here we have a really good trade call out. We had price come down. You can see on Sunday we predicted this move. We wanted to see it come back, retest this former support, confirm its new resistance, and it worked out perfectly, guys. Perfectly. So we entered right off of that. We let it drop back to zero line. We take our profit, and then now we've kind of done some consolidating sideways moves. So let's get rid of this noise and make some assumptions based on price. Where we sit now. Well, race back to the pivot. Didn't quite make it to S2 here. If we look at the latest impulse move, you can see we've stalled out almost perfectly on 618. So our probabilities lie in that we're going to get a move to the downside on this pair. I'm going to move this one to red. Canadian dollar JPY, we have our alert down here. We just didn't quite get there, guys, but we did from Sunday. We did predict the move down, but it's been a rocky road to get there, and we've kind of stalled out at that support. So maybe we're a little aggressive on these two bottoms. So I'm going to creep it up just a little bit, leave my alert where it's at, and just I'm really not a buyer until we get a stretch down into here. And we do have a missed pivot up here. So if we do get a good break to the upside, that's an obvious profit target. But price just seems to be kind of just stalling out right here at this level, at the 78,557 level. Swiss franc JPY. Well, you can see on Sunday we were looking for a drop, and we're pretty much close to that level. But we did cross over the 200 EMA, so we got to kind of wait till a good confirmation run. There's really not enough meat on the trade to go to the pivot. I mean, it's 44 pips if we catch it at a good point. I'm just going to watch price action on this one. Not really wanting to jump too quickly into anything in this really strong upside. There's really not a lot of reasons to be taking sell trades. We are kind of retesting this former resistance, but we haven't got a lot of production out of it. So I'm going to kind of see what happens at this trend line, or if we get a good solid break above that 200 EMA with some steam behind it. It wouldn't be a bad buy trade on that break. That R2 would be a really good take profit. Euro AUD. All right. Well, we had a false breakout of our make or break zone. And then price almost instantly came back to the 200 EMA. So I'm going to squeeze this up here. We didn't get a confirmation bounce off of that level, so that's why we're not in a buy trade. So now I'm going to kind of wait. It's pretty probable we might stall out the 200 EMA. We're close enough to the pivot, but we may get that push off of that pivot that we're looking for. So if we get down to that pivot, I'm going to look at price action to look for that upside move. Euro Swiss franc. You can see we had a really good trade call out right there off of that double top. Good move. If you hit that trade, go ahead and throw it in the comment sections below. I'd love the support. Let's just see what we got cooking now. So we had a strong impulse. We were looking for that Fibonacci bounce. We didn't get it. So now I still have an alert up here looking for a double top scenario because at the time we put the Fibonacci on, I'll just show you again, on this impulse leg, price was sitting right around here. So I was looking for that. If it didn't break that level, it would have double topped, or the probabilities of double topping were greater. But then we watched it break through and never really respected any of these levels. So it just came back to the 200 EMA, and now we're just kind of floating in no man's land, waiting for price to tell us what it wants to do. So I have an alert way up here in case we double top. More than likely, we're going to get a bigger move to the upside, but we're just going to have to wait for that move. Euro GBP. So here's another really good trade call out. We were in our resistance area here. We got up into our resistance, larger time frame, double top scenario, caught it perfectly, went back to the pivot, and we even had more on this trade, guys. So if we were watching, we could have watched this thing retest that pivot and got back into another sell. I think a good point of profit, if you're still in this, is this trend line. So if you're in this trade, good on you. If you had the balls to stay in it longer, even better on you. Or if you stayed in the original trade and re-entered and scaled up, you're the man or the woman. Euro JPY. So we got our alert up here in this resistance area. We've come back down pretty good to this trend line. So we got to wait for a break or a solid break off of it. We can make that play, or this might be the time we break, and I love that S2 as the take profit. Euro NZD. We have formed a pretty good double top now. Okay? So, pretty good double top. I think it's time to enter this trade right now. I'm going to put this one green because as soon as I get off videoing, I'm probably going to put this trade on, because if we take this, let's just take this impulse, this really jagged, we hit the 3.8, right? 3.82 tells me double top is higher probability, and I love the target on this is the 181 pips away. Euro US dollar. So this is the trade of the week in my free Telegram channel. Go to lnfx.com to get the access to that, or I have a link in my bio. So guys, we wanted to see price push all the way up here. Barely got it, but if you were watching, you would have entered, right? We were close enough. And then now you're in a little bit of a profit with a lot of potential to come back to the pivot. And I know it is not popular. It's not popular to be buying the dollar right now. But that's when everything works, right? When you go against what everyone else is thinking, that's where these institutions that can make these markets move, that's when they make their moves, when the most money's to be made. here we go again. We've entered off of this resistance area. I think the euro is showing some signs of reversion. So right here we got long. I think that trade is hitting up against this resistance. And I'm actually thinking, guys, now I think we should probably be short this pair. We should probably be short this pair because price action's telling us we're respecting and our pivots down here. And when we see this type of price action stalling out on a resistance or support where we got a good distance to the pivot, it's not a bad play to trade back to that pivot the end of the week. Now, if you want to be really safe, you can wait for this trend line break, but it's going to definitely shorten this distance. British pound, Canadian dollar. Well, we've broken resistance, guys, and we retested. So if we were on our game, we should have entered right there, and we'd be in a really good profitable trade. Now, this one's running from the pivot. So now that we're testing this double top, it's not a bad time to, if you're in this trade, to get out, right? We're at the top of these, and good 170 pips. British pound, Swiss franc. Looks like to me we are testing this resistance area right here. Let's go ahead and draw in that make or break zone. Okay. So we're testing this area. More likely, I'm going to scoot this thing up to right there. So I think price is probably going to get to that R2, and then we're going to look for reasoning to take that trade. Or if we get a good solid breakout, we will be long that pair. Okay, British pound, JPY. We're still looking for that run all the way up to here. We got a long ways to go. So lots of intraday, possibly intra-week moves, but I'm staying away from it. All right, we got a really good break. Man, the British pound is just crushing. So good break on resistance, good retest. So if you guys were watching this last night and are in it, you should be long right now and in profit. British pound, NZD, same thing. Looks like the British pound is running away with the markets. Okay, what do we got? So we're kind of slowing down right here, right? See price slowing down. We're kind of hugging the pivot, hugging the 200 EMA. I still am not going to be that big of a buyer unless we get all the way down here, and I'm not going to be a big seller till up here. So we're just going to sit on this pair. NZD CHF, we're getting close to our make or break zone here, which is a smaller support that we want to wait for to see what happens. NZD JPY, I see a head and shoulders, and we're testing the shoulder right now, but not a big definitive move to tell us either way. This would be a really good profit target. And plus, this shoulder's kind of weak. It's not that great of a shoulder. So, we might even see us form back to that pivot, create a bigger, better shoulder, and then that would be the play. You can see on Sunday, we were kind of already seeing it. But I don't know. Some may say we've already broken the neckline, but I want to see a strong break and a retest before I get too crazy. NZD, USD, we were playing off this trend line. You can see at one point this trade was in a 33 pip profit. And if you did take this trade, you probably should have got out break even on this trend line break. Just saying. But where we sit now, I'm not going to be getting too crazy unless we get a push all the way up to that R2. One could probably make the argument that this trend line never really got fully broke, and it's still at play. So if I was had to take a trade, it would be long up to this area. USD CAD, well, we are proving this support, but price is just not getting a lot of catalyst to make that move. But I do like this move to the pivot if we get a strong enough push off of that bottom. USD CHF, same thing. We've now hit this support. So the move I'm looking for, let's just get rid of that and draw a new one. I'm going to be looking for an impulse move to that pivot. USD JPY. All right, we have broke support, no doubt, right? So we are going to move all this down. And we're going to bring you kind of like that. I like that. So I'm going to look for price to come up. What are you doing? Chart? Test this area and possibly get into this breakdown sell. However, we got to be really careful because this move, so that'd be the halfway point. That's the perfect confluence of two indicators, right? Or two methods of price action, support and resistance and Fibonacci. They're confirming one another. That's some of the best probabilities out there. So I'm going to be looking for that move. It's going to be really hard to pick when that's going to make its move up. So that's not the trade. The long trade's not the trade. Letting it confirm itself is the trade. Let's take a quick look at Mexican peso. So you can see on Sunday, we're looking for this move down to the downside here before we get too crazy happy. I still think that works. And, you know, that pretty much wraps up this week's midweek review. Like I said in the beginning, guys, if you want to see if and when I take these trades in my own live accounts, I'm in a little bit of adjusting period right now with the Journeyman channel. Jump on over to allenfx.com. Get in the Journeyman signal service. It's not just signals, guys. It's also training. I do an hour-long live event, Ask Me Anything, every Thursday for people that are in that channel. We go over strategies. We back test. We draw support resistance. We live trade with replay on TradingView. It's well worth the $20 a month. Just the training. I will be ramping up my signals. I just sent out a survey to all my customers seeing if they want to see more training with the trades or just more trades in general and try to get a lot of those signals put out there. All right, guys, have a great Wednesday. Have a great week. Let's go make some money together. And if you're interested in my 1% Club training, forex trading courses, again, those are available at allenfx.com. And I have limited spots for that masterclass. I'm only doing 30 spots every 2 months, so I can really get you guys honed in on how to use that automated system I've been using for over a decade now. All right, guys, have a great week. Let's go make some money together.